Get this week's video ready because I realized that I goofed up the syllabus and the dates on the syllabus. I apologize for that. I'm working with some consultants and trying to improve online teaching, and it's just made it a little confusing in terms of incorporating their suggestions in the material that I'm currently posting for you. So the syllabus has a link right here to OneDrive in case I update it. I apologize for those of you who might have printed it. I will scroll down quickly through the syllabus that describes all of the assignments and such and show you that I added some important dates that I think are correct. And also in the agenda, I was conflicted in terms of how much we should do during the first week. Last week, which was our first week, is an important time to set the tone of the class and establish a sense of ourselves as a group who can learn from each other. So I did respond to almost all of the discussion posts, and I read all of them, but I didn't yet put in the grades. This week, we're going to start with the fourth module on George Schuyler. And this is the heaviest week in terms of material because tomorrow we will have W.B. Du Bois, then a documentary called The Apollo, another documentary about Ta-Nehisi Coates, and also the reading, if you prefer, and we'll end with James Baldwin next week. The following week, pretty packed as well, because we have Toni Morrison and Malcolm X all in the same week. And then in the last full week of class, we have a couple of varying authors. So next week, there's a paper coming up, and that is worth about 10 points. To help you understand how my grading system works a little bit more, I have this assignment list. Although the quizzes are formative, they don't directly count toward your grade. If you do all of them, I will normally add 10 points. And if you do all of them repeatedly until you get them all correct, I might add a few more than 10 points. Our discussions so far, we have listed 10, and this is the list of all of them. When I see you going back to the discussions and speaking back and forth to each other and have it really being a discussion for the whole class, not just something you post because I told you to, I tend to add extra points. So if you were to do these 10 discussions in the most basic way, you'd probably get 30 points, plus the 10 points above for the quizzes. So if you follow through with the math, we have a paper next week and an exam next week based on the quizzes. There's flexibility when you do all of this work. So that brings us to a total of 60 points that you will have by the end of next week, and 60 points is a D. You can find that on the syllabus. Then you have more options and more upcoming assignments. There's a presentation or podcast option. There's another exam, a final, if you haven't already arrived at 90, another paper that can be creative or can be a rewrite, and the paper or podcast presentation. And with the discussions and the presentation and with the writing back to each other when you read the presentations, that will add up to another 40 points. You need 90 points for an A, and so far what I have planned on the syllabus is 40, 50, 70, 100, 110. And like I said, you might get extra points for the quizzes. You will probably get extra points for the discussions if you speak back and forth to each other and take advantage of the opportunity to discuss with your classmates and reply to each other. So there's 110 points built in. There's a lot of possible extra points. That puts you way above what you would need for a 90, an A, or an 80, which is a B. And I just add points for everything you do. So for example, if you did the first paper and you struggled with it, didn't ask for help in advance, and got a 5 out of 10, that wouldn't hurt your grade. That'd still be 5 points that you've earned. I'd probably say, well, you want to revise it as the second paper, and then we would add more points in with that assignment. You could also do a creative second paper, and then altogether, instead of 20 points for papers, you would have 25. So what I'm saying is you can tell me what you want to do, what you want to redo, and make choices among all of these things available to get to 80 or 90, whichever grade you're aiming for. You don't have to do all of it, but give it all a go, I would say, and focus on what works best for you. So for this week, we have George Schuyler. And when we look in, here's our revised syllabus. When we look in the module for George Schuyler, you will see a quick handout. Sorry, I opened Langston Hughes. This is his essay. This is the quiz, and this is a TLTR, which I like to make the too long to read, that just kind of explains a little bit of a background about why the debate between Langston Hughes and George Schuyler is important. George Schuyler was pretty enraged about the trivialization, tokenization, uh, exoticization. Sorry for saying Asian so many times, but George Schuyler was angry during the Harlem Renaissance, and rightfully so, that white consumers of black art sensationalized it and claimed it was more sexual and did a whole kind of things to claim black art was different than white American art that weren't really valid or useful ways. So Hughes tries to find the good ways, the positive black identity in African American culture, and Schuyler says if we try to distinguish ourselves, the white people are just going to make it into something bad. That's a quick. But the reason is because of these ideas of primitivism and the hypersexualization of cultures that were called primitive, which white supremacists, which at that time were most white people, defined as most brown people in the world. Anybody who wasn't white was primitive. So this TLTR, if you look through it, has a lot of pictures, some quick quotes and things like that, some quotes from Hughes and Schuyler from some of the more important points, and that'll help you get a grasp on the debate. And therefore, you'll find, usually reading a recording and some kind of brief explanation for each of the modules. Let me know of any questions you have. Please don't worry too much about the schedule because I do honor people's right to work at your pace, work ahead, take a little extra time if you need to. And let me know what questions you have, and a terrific week.